Napoleon sold the Louisiana Territory to the USA for $15 million. When the date showed 1803, then USA President Thomas Jefferson bought Louisiana, which equaled about one-third of present-day America's area, from Napoleon Bonaparte for only $15 million. The name of the city of St. Louis in America was derived from Louis XIV, who reigned as the King of France from 1643 to 1715. In 1682, French explorer Robert Cavelier de la Salle named the region Louisiana in honor of the king. The first permanent settlement, Mississippi, was founded in 1699 by a French officer named Pierre Le Moyne d'Iberville. The third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, was concerned about Napoleon's plans to re-establish French colonies in North America. With the capture of New Orleans, Napoleon could have closed off the Mississippi to American trade at any time. Jefferson's political opponents argued against the purchase of Louisiana, claiming it was a worthless desert. Despite the objections, the U.S. Senate ratified the Louisiana Purchase. America acquired this region from France for $15 million. The treaty was signed on April 30, 1803, in Paris, by Robert Livingston, James Monroe, and Barbe Marbois. The Louisiana Territory doubled the size of the United States overnight without a war or the loss of a single American life, setting a precedent for land acquisition. It paved the way for the expansion of the United States across the continent to the Pacific Ocean. The United States made the largest land acquisition in its history, seizing an area of 2.1 million square kilometers. The payment amounted to 4 cents per hectare. The leader of France at the time was Napoleon Bonaparte, and France would use the money urgently needed to regain power in Europe. However, what the French did not know was that since this area was not fully mapped, it was actually much larger than they thought. The basin of the Mississippi and Missouri rivers was sold, but in reality, this river basin would cover one-third of America from south to north, of gigantic proportions. In those years, only the eastern part of America was mapped, and its dimensions were known. So, if the French had known that they were selling a territory several times larger, perhaps they would not have sold it, and today there would be a much more interesting map of America. So why did Napoleon agree to such a sale? Those lands had been lost as a result of the 7 Years' War. Napoleon had regained Louisiana with the secret San Ildefonso agreement he made with Spain on paper. However, the region was still under Spanish rule, and since France was at war at that time, it was not very possible for France to govern those lands. Moreover, if he hadn't sold it, he would have lost it again as a result of the war he lost in 1815, and thus he wouldn't have gained any benefit from it. The yellow fever, transmitted by mosquitoes, which killed 60% of Napoleon's personnel in Louisiana and also his senior generals at the time, had a significant impact on Napoleon's decision. As this disease, which had no treatment at the time, combined with the problem of finding clean water and food, greatly affected Napoleon's decision-making, who relied heavily on his military power. With the subsequent division of these vast territories, Louisiana, Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Oklahoma were formed in their entirety, as well as large parts of Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, and Minnesota. It now represents 23% of the U.S. territory.